Welcome to F Your Feelings, the greatest podcast to ever exist. It's your man, Just Hyde. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share. You know what I'm saying? But make sure you subscribe, too. We got a great episode. We got a phenomenal episode. We got Irina. Say your last name again.
Voronina.
See, I was going to fuck that up. I was definitely going to fuck that up. Irina
Voronina.
Voronina. That's a lot. It's a lot in there. We got Ty Barnett.
What's up?
You know what I'm saying? Stand up legend out here in these streets.
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm good, man.
This is dope, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No doubt, bro. And we got Eric Schwartz.
Yeah, perfect. A lot of people can't say that one.
Damn, that's
you
terrible.
Nailed it. Schwartz.
I always say if I wasn't Christian, I would be Jewish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, that's what I feel. I feel like in my heart, that's what my next religion would have been.
Christian is just like Judaism plus. You know what I mean? You know, because that's the Old Testament is Judaism.
That's right.
Plus, you remember that because like a cross. Plus. You know what I mean?
That could be an app.
Good way to put it.
Yeah.
You know, it could be an app. What would be on your content?
It would be the Torah.
That'd be the Torah.
Yeah.
Oh man, where do we start, man? So, Irina, you from Russia?
I'm from Russia, born and raised.
Born and raised. What was that like?
Well, I left Russia in 1996 when I started modeling. But growing up, you know, like when you're a kid, you don't know that your government is fucked up. Like you don't know that things like you're taught in school are lies, and you don't know that you live behind the Iron Curtain. And then it's kind of like, you know, it's sad.
Yeah.
Because like you growing up, like I had values, you know, I was a pioneer. I was going to be, you know, maybe a member of Communist Party, maybe. Don't tell anyone, you know, and then like when you turn 14, 15, you're like, no, like all of this is wrong and fucked up. And like my generation, like has no values,
right.
literally, because everything we're taught is wrong. And yeah.
Wow, that's so. Hey, you know what I be thinking sometimes, like, because I haven't traveled overseas yet because, well, I'm a loser. No.
Really?
Yeah, I know. I haven't traveled overseas yet. I've only been to Cancun, and that was for work. I went to Hawaii, which doesn't count. But other than that, I haven't been like overseas. And so part of me be thinking, and then the time I was gonna travel overseas, COVID happened. I literally was planning to go take a European tour. 2020, and then COVID happened. So I was like, well, there goes that. So, but do y'all feel like America is still, because I've heard people that have traveled, and they say America is still the greatest country.
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. So you do feel that way?
I don't have to think about it. Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
It's relative, though. Depends what you want. You know what I mean? There's things
that was
about
a splitting of the differences. Right
but yeah, there's a lot of great stuff about America. I love the people. I mean, the politics thing sucks. People get divided from this politics thing, but there's some cool, like New Zealand is like beautiful and not a lot of people, like the overcrowding issues that we have here, they don't really have that there. Like Australia, the whole country, huge country, is like 20 million people, which is how many people are in California. So
30 million.
20 million.
Oh,
Same,
yeah, 20
exact
million.
same, yeah.
Holy shit.
I would tell you, okay, two things. One, when you do get a chance to go, Europe, go London. You can't go wrong in London. London was actually really dope. We just came back from London. And Paris. Paris is everything that you see in the movies, in the TV shows.
Wow.
It's dope. Amazing. I'm not going to lie. We came back from Paris, and I'm like, okay. And the hype was worth it. So so if you get a chance to go.
Now, you know what's so funny? Some TikTok person just made a video shitting all over Paris. They showed the slums. I don't know what. I think it was a them. They. And it showed. Why nobody don't use it instead of them and they? Is that disrespectful?
I personally feel like, look, just you got to give us all time to catch up to what you want to be called. Let me bring it back to two things first. One, America as a country. Let me tell you where this people mess this up at. America is very good at symbolism. We're like the Michael Jordans of symbolism. No one does symbolism better than America. The flag, the eagle, the hand over your heart. But the practicing of those, we're the worst because it's supposed to stand for freedom. It's supposed to stand for liberty. Yet most of the people in this country, are dealing with their freedoms being taken, their liberties being infringed on. And I ain't talking about beer cans. I'm talking about women not being able to have the right to not have a baby if they don't want to. I'm talking about voting rights. I'm talking about all these types of things and they still put it under the banner of this flag. So when people say, is it still, now when you compare it to what Russia is, or when you compare it to places where they can't eat, yes, you're right. America is fantastic when it comes to that because you got less of that situation. When it comes to how we treat our people versus what the representation is horrible. It's horrible. So,
what y'all think about Canada? Do you think we should move to Canada?
I love Canada.
You know, Canada.
I love Canada.
For the healthcare.
For the healthcare, right?
Yeah, I know.
We claim to be a melting pot, quote unquote, in America. But when I went to Canada, like that felt like everyone's like hanging out with each other.
I love Canada.
Yeah.
I was this close to moving to Canada like 20 years ago.
Damn.
Vancouver's dope. Vancouver, Montreal, and my new favorite city is Toronto.
Now, what stopped you?
I didn't have enough money.
Oh, that'll do it. I'm glad you was honest. And then come up with some bullshit ass reason.
We went there because, I started stand up in Seattle. So like we would just drive over the border and go do comedy in Vancouver. They had this little small hole in the wall club in Kitsilano Beach where Robin Williams used to go all the time whenever he was filming up there. A small, intimate room, but the best. And we would drive 3 hours just to do like 5 minutes. And different times. I was not married, but some of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life. So I was like, this is probably where I need to be.
Yeah.
This is probably where I need to be.
Vancouver is like always rated like one of the top cities in the world for sure.
Yeah.
My parents live in Mexico in the middle of the country. It's called San Miguel de Allende, and I think people in America have a wrong conception about Mexico. Everyone thinks it's dangerous and dirty, and there are places like that, but there are places like that here. Mm-hmm. And when I'm in San Miguel, I feel way safer than walking down Hollywood Boulevard.
Wow.
Yeah, especially now.
Wait, there's no homeless people on crack?
I know.
Hilarious. Gotta have the homeless on crack.
I mean,
you can't have one without the other.
I walked down the street there and like a needle flew out of somebody's arm once. And I was like, wow, they're taking the vaccine seriously here.
You won't see a homeless vegan person. That doesn't exist. They're not sitting there talking about, no, I'm good. That's a burger. I'm not going to mess with that.
I always say, I've heard other comedians say this, but this shit is true too for me. I remember being it used to be an open mic called Marty's that was on Sunset. Bruh, I swear, a homeless dude whipped out his dick. It was the biggest dick I have ever seen in my entire life. Like a log. I'm not bullshitting.
What a waste.
What a waste.
Hilarious.
And I'm thinking, I was looking at him like, you ever seen a beautiful woman that's struggling financially? I'm like, bitch, just fuck somebody. But no, but this is what I'm saying. Use what you got, right? And so I'm like, bruh, you're in Hollywood. Just go to the Valley.
That's it.
Go to some porn place. Go to Vivid or whatever.
Yeah. Video Angel. Well, I'm giving a lot of information.
Whip it out. You're gonna get hired, bro.
That's right.
Because it was so absurd. It was absurd. It was like an elephant trunk, bro. That's how big this thing was.
It was absurd.
No, it was absurd. It pissed me off because I could never do that. I got a little in my feelings.
That's how I feel about homeless people with abs.
Oh,
I'd
I
be
see
like,
that.
oh, what are you, man? I feel bad for your situation, but I'm like, your situation don't look that bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause they'll be ripped up, and I'm like, and it's especially like there's a gym, there's a LA Fitness right next to a homeless encampment, and I'm like I remember driving past it, and I'm like, look at all of this. God, and I do got abs.
They work out. They use the showers and lockers and bathrooms. Have you ever been to like LA Fitness at midnight? There will be no lockers.
Oh my God.
They're all taken by homeless people. That's the time
wild.
for personal hygiene.
That's true. One of my homeboys was homeless. He showered at the gym. That's what they do. If anything, they'll get a gym membership. Some of them, and that's what they'll
$20 depending.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, hey, I sleep on the street, go shower at LA Fitness or a gym, whip out my big dick.
Get discovered by, But look, America is a country of opportunities.
Yeah.
You can get discovered here. and be, a star of porn, of vivid video. Like in other countries, it depends on what life you want, right?
That's
like
true.
if you want to just fish and enjoy, mellow kind of situation, family, it's great. But in America, you can go from 0 to 1 million overnight. Because
Literally
it's the
overnight.
That's true.
country of opportunities. No other country can do this for you. Like in Russia, I would never be on Justin Hires podcast.
That's
If there was a
unfortunate.
Justin Hires of Russia, just hypothetically speaking. Like I couldn't be like, hey, I'm coming to Hollywood and I'm going to become an actress.
Like what?
This doesn't happen.
Do they just like they route you into whatever job they want you to do? How does that work?
Well, first of all, maybe now there are more success stories like this, but back, when I was growing up, like I'm from the middle of nowhere. Like my parents don't have money or, like history of any entertainment jobs. So by sort of my upbringing, like I was never meant to be successful or make anything out of my life. I was born in Dzержinsk, the most polluted city in the world, where like people come out with like 6 fingers and
Oh my
tails
God.
and shit. And yeah. So what I'm saying is people
Just
come
so you
here.
know, really quick, as soon as you said that, I'm not gonna lie, I did look at your hands. As soon as you said that, I hope I wasn't the only one. I'm like,
No,
okay, no,
there's-
she,
there's-
You were. I definitely did not. I did not.
She wore open-toed shoes. She's being
She's
vulnerable.
fine.
Yeah,
everyone.
I'm
Yeah.
very open.
got
She
you.
was a model, so yeah, she can't have 6 fingers.
6 toes were removed at the age of
Okay.
3. No, I'm kidding.
One of my homeboys did have a 6-toe removed. Not bullshitting. He
Yeah.
was born with 6 toes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm listening though. We listening.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is it's not even like about my personal experience, but I feel like here, if you're an immigrant and you come from another country, you can start a business. You can start successful business. Your family, will be set for the rest of your life. And I see so many success stories. Like I worked for a lingerie company for like 15 years, biggest like lingerie / Halloween costume manufacturer in America.
Wow.
Like they came here from Taiwan with nothing. And they became a multi-million-dollar business dominating the market in America.
Wow.
Just,
See,
just another immigrant family trying to sell crotchless pantyhose.
Hey,
you know?
shout
That's
out
all.
to Crotchless Pantyhose.
That's
And it's when I hear these stories that I think, Justin, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Why don't you have a multi-million-dollar
Crotchless pantyhose.
business?
No, but you will get there.
That's
And
right.
you are there.
Dream.
And we're
Dream,
here
Justin.
to support you and each other.
That's
right.
And we all going to get there because we're in America and we're paying our dues.
That's a
you
fact.
guys are, in clubs every night, working on your craft, making content.
I will say that when you look at, again, I have to be clear when I said it. It's not the worst place. I always tell people America is one of those things where like you see the potential in the country. Like everything you described is true. You can come here and do things that you probably couldn't do in another country. I think the issue sometimes for people is that not everybody is given those same opportunities the same way. And historically, we've seen that that hasn't been the case. But what America can be is amazing. Like that, like you look at these things, you're like, no, you actually can do this, and you have these opportunities. We just have to put more people in places to help these other people do the things that they need to do. Because you're right, I probably wouldn't have the life that I have if it wasn't for what I do for a living and where I do it at. Probably not. Same thing for all of us. So I just think when you become more aware of the circumstances in the place, that's when you're like, oh, okay. It wasn't always that easy, or it's not always this. It's there in the potential of America. I love that. That's what I love more. I love the potential of America.
You know more about Canada because you almost moved there, I would assume. Yeah. But did you feel like Canada kind of has it more together, like America could have it, but America's just bigger and just more soups and
I think
cooks
Canada
in the
has
kitchen?
it together in some ways more than others. Like, I mean, I hear their taxes. If I hear this right, if I remember right, their taxes are off the chart, like what they have to pay. But you get health care. You go see a doctor and you're good, as opposed to here where people literally die because they don't have that. So in that sense, I think they have certain things together. But then you hear people talk about Justin Trudeau and all this. So no place is perfect. I just think for me, I was young, inspired, and horny. So when I saw
Horny is the key word.
Right.
That's the drive.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, man. We used to go to Canada and be like, come on, man. There's no reason to be anywhere else.
They do have beautiful women.
Oh my God.
Yeah, some of the most beautiful women.
If you look at Vancouver was my first experience, but then Toronto and Montreal for the comedy festival was the very first time I'd ever experienced like that kind of energy.
Y'all did JFL?
Yeah.
I've been there. I've been there a couple times.
But have you performed?
I never performed. No.
It's so funny. I was talking to somebody in my representation team. I'm not gonna say which one, but they was like, "Yeah, we were just all up in Montreal," and I was like, "Oh, must be nice." He was like, "Have you been to Just For Laughs?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, I couldn't even get a fucking showcase.
You should go. You're like, yeah, well, get me there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, how about somebody make some fucking phone calls and get me?
You should be there.
They was like, well, we feel like you're too known to do the new faces and not famous enough to be. I'm like, well, nigga,
yeah.
Let's figure something out.
It's not the same as it was before, but I remember early days in Montreal was
fire.
Oh my God, bro! Still to this day, the most fun I had in Montreal was the year I went that I wasn't performing, because my manager at the time actually suggested it. She's like, you should go. Same thing. You should go. And I was like, well, you want me to go just if I'm not performing? Like, no, go network. And this is when I was really good at networking.
But see the difference. Hold on, I'm gonna pause you right there. You see the difference between your team and my team? My team all bought tickets. They planned. Mm-hmm. They went, had a grand old time, and then when they got back,
they told you.
They was like, hey man, we were just up in Montreal, JFL, had a blast. Mm-hmm. Your team at least said, hey, here's a good career move for you to do. Is to go to Montreal, network, and see what happens. Continue.
That's true. And it was actually, it was a good thing to do, because I ended up performing the next year. So that year I went, it was when I had the most fun though, because I wasn't focused on my set. I was just like, I'm here just hanging out. I'm going to the bar and just networking with all that stuff. It's not the same allure as it was. Don't get me wrong. It's still a great festival to be around.
I think it's coming back up again, though.
I would hope so, because it used to be a time where if you went and you performed, it really was a difference in your career. Like you at least got known. You either got representation out of it, or you got some kind of major deal. They used to be handing out deals like people hand out fucking water bottles. So
I handed out 3 today. Just one. They brought
nowadays it ain't so much the same, but the festival itself is fun, and I'm one of those people that I love being surrounded by other comedians and other comedic energy. So even if you don't perform, I will say that benefit of being around that energy, it is worth it. It's dope, especially if you can afford to go, get a hotel, go do all the stuff. It is worth it. It is.
And you said you went too?
Yeah, I went. One year I went to do comedian interviews for a company that I was with called Maker Studios. And that was
remember Maker Studios?
Yeah. My YouTube channel was with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was interviewing people, and it was cool because I knew everybody I was interviewing. So, most of the people I had a little bit of chemistry with, and so it was really fun. And then the other time I went that was earlier in my career, just to check it out, because I really wanted to do it. And I wanted to see what it was all about. And that was fun. That was cool. I just saw showcases, and, I knew some of the comedians and hung out, and it was fun.
When you were up there, was there any part of you thinking, did you get to see, y'all got to see the other comedians perform, right? Yeah. While you were watching the other comedians.
I know what you're going to ask.
Was there any part of you thinking, I clearly should have been on this showcase?
Any comedian watching, when I go watch any comedy show, I go, okay, what would I do? What if I get caught? What if they ask me to go up? I'm planning my set in my head. Even in Montreal, and I wasn't accepted, and I'm like, okay, this is what I would do. I'm ready.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I have an idea.
Yes.
You should invite Fumi on your podcast to talk about his experience as a JFL new face this year.
Who? Fumi?
Fumi Abe.
I'm going to look him up. No, I'm going to have Fumi come on here. Yeah, because that's what I was like. So I showcased here, in the improv in the lab, in 2009, right? So I had only been doing stand-up for 2 years, really. And I had a good set. They was like, we feel like Justin is almost there. Bring him back next year, and I'm sure we'll pass him so he can do new faces. But then the following year, I had booked a TV show, right? So I had booked a TV show, so I didn't do it, and I started booking. Success, millionaire, canceled. So now that I'm canceled, I'm like, well, shit, let me fucking circle back and do JFL. Can't get a goddamn showcase.
You canceled? You mean like your show
My
got canceled?
shows got canceled.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what? Should I be here right now?
No.
Hilarious.
My show.
What am I doing?
Take me off all socials. Take me off all
scrub
socials.
me off.
I pulled my dick out on Sunset.
Oh, that's you. It's you.
It's me. I did it. And ironically, I called the same women that Louis did it. No, I'm joking. It's like, can you meet me at this address? Have you heard of a sequel? This is part 2, bitch. No, but so anyways, the shows got canceled. And I'm like, well, shit, well, let me do JFL now. Because I really realized, like, stand-up is my real love, passion, right? So I'm like, let me do JFL. Couldn't even get a showcase at the Improv.
It's different now, man, because and it's almost the same. It's a different process with any of these people that book any of these types of things now. The bookers then versus now, the criteria. It's weird because sometimes it'll be like it should be just the jokes, theoretically. It should just be the jokes. That's it. Now it's coupled with how many people know you already, which is weird because I'm like, why would you not pick you? You technically would be a new face to the festival. You technically would be.
Oh, I like that.
You know
See that spin he put on there? I would be a new face to the festival. I'm gonna have my reps say that.
I'm just saying
next year.
You know, just a percentage. Yeah. But
hey, you know what, nigga? Don't give me no more advice.
Yo, they should have a separate show called True Faces.
Old new faces.
Old new faces.
People who aren't new at stand-up, who are like maybe veterans.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna pitch that. All
because
right.
you can't, because if you're not the top person, like in the middle area is where a lot of us are in this area. Like,
Middle-aged faces.
Grew faces? I don't know. I'm trying to rhyme it.
Grown.
We need that though, because it's like, well, shit. How people like us go get in there? Like, if we wanted to put, if we at least us three, you could get new faces right now. But if us three wanted to do JFL right now, I don't know if we could get in.
I can tell you for sure I wouldn't.
I mean, they could do a veterans show.
Well, his again, like I said, if it
Wounded veterans.
Right, yeah, that's the show.
I love it.
Wounded veterans of comedy.
Right.
Yep. I did a showcase at the Laugh Factory. So it was a couple years ago. So this is before COVID. A little bit before that. And so I had stopped even trying to submit for him anymore for any of the other shows because I couldn't do New Faces anymore. So I was just like, but I still love the festivals. I like to go. So my manager was like, yeah, you know what? They're having a showcase down at the Ice House. You should go. And the first thing I say to her, I said, listen, they know who I am. I'd rather just not go if it's not going to be something that I'm seriously going to be considered for. I mean, I appreciate you asking me, but I don't want to do that. So she said, no, go. They actually asked for you to come showcase. And I'm like, you said, yeah, come on down. So I go down. And let me preface this by saying I've been doing comedy 25 years at least. Very rarely do I say I killed. I'm being honest about this. I very rarely will say, oh, it was a great set. That set, that night, great set.
Yeah.
Killed. So much so to where the dude comes up to me. He says, oh, Ty, man, we haven't seen you in a while. It's great to see you with great new material. Oh, my God, dude, just so funny. And I'm like, oh, cool. Maybe things have really changed in the process.
Right.
Nothing. I get that. Then I forgot who it was after me. Someone else went up, got no laughs.
Got the festival.
But you know that's how SNL work. But before I get to how SNL work, my homeboy auditioned for JFL this year. He said he killed it, and I believe him because he's a killer. And they told him we like him, but he was too seasoned.
Yeah, that happens, bro.
Too seasoned.
It happens, and that's what I mean by like sometimes when the criteria is different. When the criteria is different, it's so many different factors now versus then, and that doesn't mean that they aren't looking for funny. You should be some level of funny. It just means that now they want to know how many people know you already.
Oh,
how
yeah.
many followers
Everyone on the represented New Faces has like social media following and been posting stand-up like for years and gets millions of views. So it's kind of not a coincidence.
You see what I'm saying? So
wow.
there's a different thing to it. Doesn't mean that it does, because I will say this for social media, it has cut out the middleman in that sense to where you can become a millionaire without a big studio. You can become all of this stuff without that. It just takes
I definitely
work.
became a millionaire with a studio. Shout out to CBS.
but look, think about that. Think about that shift. It's the same thing that's going on with films and television. Is that before it was like the talent, right? Mm-hmm. Like we want great talent because we're going to put this out and we want to deliver, right? And now it's like, hey, help us get seen because the landscape is so saturated that it's like we need people that are going to drive eyeballs to us as a festival or us as a film or us as a TV show. You know what I mean? It's the same. It's really a reflection of the industry if you really think about that. When you said that, it made me realize it. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That's true. That's what I said. It's benefits. Younger comedians will ask me like about clubs and stuff like that, and I'll tell them, I'm like, man, to be honest with you, if you got your social media presence right, you don't even need to fuck with a club.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, on the road, well, that actually was gonna get me to something. Hold on, to piggyback, put a pin in that. SNL, the same thing. I've been told you can't kill too hard at your audition if you're trying to book SNL. And I heard David Spade say this on his podcast. That Dennis Miller had told him that right before he auditioned, and he was like, because if you kill too hard, it's the same thing. They want somebody kind of fresh. And I heard Lauren Michaels say this in a podcast, which is they don't want anybody too seasoned because they don't want anybody attached to the system already, like agents and managers. He don't want to deal with people's representation. And he wants SNL, he want that to be your only passion. So the bigger you are, you got these other opportunities. You know, people might start wanting you to do the TV shows and commercials and all that type of shit. He want cast members who are fresh. Their whole life is only revolves around SNL.
Because that schedule is grueling.
Because that schedule is crazy. And so that's something that he looks for too, is like you can't kill too hard, you know, which is wild. Damn, what you was just talking about before.
That what you said, it actually makes sense because everyone you talk to that has done SNL and left, they all say the same thing. That schedule was fucking bananas.
Yeah.
Like you had to eat, sleep, and breathe SNL. Like you get up, you got to work on the schedule all week. You do the thing, and then you're so exhausted from the come down, and then before you know it, the next day you got to start all over again.
Yeah.
And so I can understand that part, but it's ironic because when people do make it big, they end up leaving.
Yeah, exactly.
They end up leaving the show.
Have you auditioned for JFL yet? Not yet.
No.
How long have you been doing stand up now?
8 years.
Oh, 8 years. Oh, you ready?
I am ready. I don't have representation. But
At all?
That's wild.
I mean, not for stand up.
Okay, but you have an agent.
I have like a manager.
You got your manager should be able to get you.
Manager.
My manager got me my first showcase for JFL.
I submitted as unrepresented, but
Did you? Well, that'll do it.
Yeah.
You probably should have. You should have had your manager submit. Probably that'll probably help.
Because you could, you really could. Like you have a look, you're new, and I honestly feel like they do for Just for Laughs. When they do look for people, they want to bring people that are marketable. Yeah. That really is what sometimes it does come down to that. You're marketable and you are marketable. And as long as you're funny, then you've earned it.
All right, you guys, I'm leaving. I'm going to prepare my JFL tape.
Thank
you very much for this.
You have a unique, cool story.
I'm very motivated right now. I'm going to change my life.
That's it.
This is Country of Opportunities.
There you go. And it all came back to that.
But you also have a cool story being from Russia. And leaving because of model.
Because, you know, Russians are so in right now.
No,
like,
yeah.
When they see a beautiful Russian woman who was born and raised in Russia, they're like, oh, my God. I mean, there's this really cool Ukrainian comedian, but we're definitely going to go for
But you stand with Ukraine, right?
Yeah, whose side are you on?
I'm half Russian, half Ukraine.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm producing a big fundraiser this Sunday.
What is that, the half Russian, half Ukraine thing? Because isn't Ksenia?
Yeah.
She's half Russian, half Ukraine
there's
also?
millions of people who are half Russian and half Ukrainian. Because,
yeah, it used to be the same country.
Oh, because
much.
Got you.
I'm Ukrainian. My
I was raised
ancestors.
It's kind of like with Obama. They only focus on the black part. They never focus on the white part. He was white as well. He's black. Right. It's like, he's black. No, he's part white too. Yeah.
Oh.
No, but I never say, hey, like I'm Ukrainian because I was born and raised in Russia. Even though like I was born and raised by my Ukrainian grandparents, like I'm a Russian citizen. I've never been to Ukraine, but you know, like it's still like in my upbringing, there was a lot of Ukrainian
Would you go back
influence.
now?
My husband won't let me.
Smart.
Because I'm very vocal on social media
Smart.
about being pro
Smart.
Ukraine and,
Smart,
raising
smart.
Yeah, he
funds
protected
and-
you.
Yeah, he's like, no, absolutely no way. No, let's go to Turkey. Meet your mom there, huh? Much safer.
Oh, your mom still lives in
Yeah,
Russia.
my entire family's in Russia.
Wow.
Oh,
Do y'all FaceTime?
Yes.
Y'all do?
Yes, yes.
Damn.
Thank you, technology. When I left Russia, I had to use payphone and calling cards to call my
Oh,
mom,
wow.
like back in the 90s.
I actually
you
think
know?
is
Now
that
it's like-
allowed? They can do that?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I remember going to Dubai, and it was a long flight. Let's just leave it there. It was a long flight. Got to the hotel, wanted to watch porn, and
Wait a minute. This
And
took a
there's this
turn.
homeless guy with a giant
no. But believe me, that's funny. But and the reason why I said it is because when I got there to the hotel, tried to log on, they said this is not allowed in the government.
We see you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No Pornhub for you, Ty.
None, right? So when you just said that, you said you're allowed, because Russia is so restrictive in a lot of stuff that they have literally state-run television. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was wondering, they know that you're here? They know you're vocal. They know that you're outspoken. I was wondering, do they kind of monitor that
Well,
when you?
Here's the thing. I'm sure there's a file on me of some sort.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, when I was married,
Get it
back in 2003, I came to Russia with my American husband, first American husband. And
So you're your second husband.
this is my third husband, second American husband.
Okay, gotcha.
And Russian police would frequently invite themselves to my mom's house. Like, we would come back from doing whatever, and they would be sitting there having tea to supervise, the foreigner.
Oh wow.
So now I'm the foreigner, because
Okay.
I'm also American. Like, I could just be taking up on lending, be like, hey, the spy is here. She came to spy on our prisons and our objects. Well, they also make all the chemical weapons and bombs in my hometown. So it
In
is
your
technically
hometown?
a strategic object.
That's why it's polluted.
Yes.
That's wild. Eric, are you half Mexican?
No, my stepfather's Mexican.
Your stepfather's
Yeah.
Mexican.
So I grew up with some of the culture, and I've lost a lot. I didn't live with my mom and my stepfather full time. So I mainly live with my dad and my stepmom. So I'm still playing catch up on all the cultural stuff.
Damn.
Yeah. But yeah, that's I grew up with a Mexican stepdad since I was 4 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Any interesting cultural things or no? Or,
Yeah,
Or
well,
are we all the same, Eric?
Nah.
Are we all the fucking same? Are there no differences?
Well, what I love about Mexican culture is really into family. They're they're more they do party a lot, but in some ways they're very Catholic. You know what I mean? My stepdad isn't like that, but he taught me a lot. He's a musician. He's the coolest dude. It was cool having kind of two dads, because my dad is more of the conservative one, and he kind of adorable dork, That's my dad. And then my stepdad is very cool, jazz musician, fashion, you know what I mean?
Let's get to the real question.
Yeah.
Which one beat you? Let's cut the shit,
Yeah.
Eric. No, I'm joking.
I didn't get well though. I mean, the worst was my biological dad would he hit me with the belt a couple times, but nothing big. He would fake it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my mama,
Yeah.
she didn't
He
fake it.
Wait.
Yeah, it wouldn't hit me hard.
Okay.
Yeah, nah, my mama.
He'd hit me in the feelings.
Oh,
It didn't really leave a
Hilarious.
mark.
do y'all have any? This is why I keep forgetting to say that. Irina is the manager at the Comedy Chateau.
Yeah.
Anybody listening?
Yeah. What do you call it? Shameless self-promotion.
That's right. Very,
That's right.
very
That's
dope
okay.
club. They put me up very often. Shout out to the Comedy Chateau. Make sure y'all go there in North Hollywood. How did that come about? How did you meet Felix, and how did you become the manager? Because she's also the booker. So yeah, how did that come about?
So during the pandemic, Comedy Chateau was not open, but Felix already got the building, and they were hoping to be open soon. But with the pandemic, there was no vaccine, nobody knew, and somehow I saw some posts on Instagram. Hey, we have an open mic. Come check out a new club. It was, I think, the current person who was working there at the time. And I came to Sunday auditions, in the backyard. And I met Felix. Then it was like a bunch of comedians I already knew. And they were like, hey, Irina's great at social media. Like, you should hire her to do social media. So Felix hired me to build Instagram before the club opened.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
And we would make content like every week. Like every Sunday I would come up with like 5 sketches. We would film them, put them out. And by the time the club opened, we already had like a little bit of like social media following. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, I live 1 mile down the street from the club.
Oh, gotcha.
So I can always open up, close up, like be there, supervise something. So I became like a go-to person for Felix for literally everything. And also, there was nothing happening at all.
Right. I performed on y'all opening night, ironically enough. You probably don't even, that's when I met you.
Yes. Yeah, no, I remember it. Like, we wrote down your information.
Yeah.
And
Just so happened I was in town, 'cause I was still doing my old show at the time. It just so happened I was in town and got booked at the Comedy Chateau on some show that was outside.
Outside, yeah.
And I had a good set, and then Irina fucking took down my info, and they've been booking me ever since.
Yeah.
That outdoor stage was actually, I love that stage.
Yeah.
That was so fun.
Yeah, it was so fun. I just love our outdoor patio. Unfortunately, we can't take the party there at this point. Yeah,
Oh,
there's
that's what it
a lot
is.
going on. Yeah, noise complaints.
I love the
and stuff,
Chateau.
but
Yeah, I love the Chateau, too.
Both of those rooms are great. Both of those rooms work perfectly for stand-up. Like, you got the bigger room but that small room is intimate enough to where if you want to work material out, oh my God! Like it's something about smaller rooms that are just great for material like that. So both of those, I always tell people the thing about the Chateau, and I say this to Felix all the time. I'm like, bro, you think like a comedian, which helps because a lot of people don't understand acoustics. They don't understand seating people. They don't understand how to keep a room a certain way. But ever since I started going there, I would notice that with Felix. He's like, no, I'm going to sit these people here. And then, same thing with you. You'd be like, okay, we got to make sure that the room is like this. So I've been recommending people go all the time, especially if I say, hey, what are we looking to do? And it's like, there's a club right there. Go check them out.
Yeah, I tell them that, too. I tell them that all the time. What you about to say, Eric?
I was going to say that small room, I think the reason that one of the reasons it's so great for comedians to perform there, the small room has like in the back of the stage like an arch, and so just sound acoustic wise, it bounces the laughs into your ears so much. It's like an amplifier for the laughs.
I love that small room.
Yeah, you become like more courageous because you're like, I'm
it's hard to bomb in that room.
Yeah,
like
like,
nobody
I'm
bombs
killing
in that room. You can get the best tape. Kevin Hart
Yeah.
performed there like 18 times before
Wow.
practicing his
For his reality
special.
check special, yeah.
Wow.
That's where I seen him at. Yeah, man, he was killing it in there. Y'all have any trouble getting booked at like on the road? Y'all having difficulties or no?
I mean, it's the same thing of like, the following and, where your fans are. And I kind of, because of social media, I can tell where my fans are. And so I've just focused on, if I'm going to go to like Minneapolis, I don't currently have the biggest fan base there. So if I'm trying to do a door deal type of situation there, it's probably not the best situation for me. If they ask me to do it, sure, I'd love to do it. But I'm going to focus on, like, for me, the Southwest, the Northwest, Florida.
How do you know where your fan base is at?
I see them online, and like Facebook tells you what your top cities are, and
like analytics.
analytics.
So your analytics will tell you your top cities?
Yeah. And I could just tell also, like, sometimes I'll look where they're from, and
Facebook used to have this thing, man, where you could message people in specific areas.
Yeah.
Like you could go and pinpoint the city, and you'd be like, "Hey, such and such, I'm gonna be in this city." They took it away a while ago, but it used to be perfect.
They
for
said,
marketing.
"Oh, this is gonna help your career." Well, let's take that away.
Oh my God, I was so pissed when they did that because I guess they were worried about people spamming people, but I'm like, this is, if you see that the person is a comedian, you know that this is what we do. We have to connect with the people in certain areas. So that was my go-to. I would go online, like, okay, if I'm performing in such and such place, like, all right, hey, you guys, everybody in Tampa, blah, blah, blah. I sent out a massive message, but then I would go to their messenger and say, hey, I see we have common friends. I'll be performing at such and such. It was one of the easiest ways to market through Facebook.
Now they want you to pay for it.
Yeah. And
Well, that's what it's all about now, is paying for that boost.
and they which doesn't 100% guarantee it, but I think between TikTok and Instagram and just being consistent, that's what I had to learn, was being consistent in posting because I'm one of the people that's like, look, I posted a week ago about the shit that was happening today. Okay, we good, right? But now I'm like, nope. Every day I got to be like, even if it's some random bullshit. I ate ice cream today. You know, like I have to do these things, and you do see the algorithms. You do notice all these types of things. The issue with being on the road now at this very moment with both the strikes is everybody needs to be on the road now because there's no money coming in from here. So that's the challenge going, at least until this shit ends.
Right. So, it's harder to get booked at the clubs just because some of the bigger names that's usually on TV, they're in the comedy clubs right now. When y'all booking, are you booking yourself or is your representation booking you?
Well, you guys were talking about representation earlier. I don't have any representation.
Wow.
Except for like commercials and hosting. But for comedy, I don't have a manager. I don't have, so I book everything myself. I'm hoping that changes, but it's like I've had so many people.
JFL.
Oh yeah, right.
You can be a new face. Oh my God, you're unrepresented.
Come on.
I've had so many people like they want to get involved and they never follow through.
How long have you been doing stand up?
29 years.
That's what I'm about to say, bro, because I've always heard your name since I moved out here. Your name has always been like Eric Schwartz is out here. So it's always been ringing out here.
Thank you, man.
That's crazy.
I think
I'm actually surprised. Really?
Well, look.
Where'd you fuck up, Eric?
I didn't.
Who'd you piss off?
I've had offers from people, like even just recently somebody said they wanted to help book me and they just dropped the ball. And I'm very like professional. I'm very like I give them everything they need and then I don't know what their deal is.
You do seem professional as fuck. So
thanks, man.
So I would say it's the representation. It's the people that's just fucking up and dropping the ball. But that's what I realized about this business. Your representation. I had to tell my mom this the other night because she'd be like, "Oh, you be firing people," and I'm like, "Mom." She didn't say it like that, but she was like,
Justin fires.
I Justin fires. You got them right. So I was like, listen, you only are as good as your team.
Yeah.
And if your team, if they're not bringing any value, you have to let them go. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, what good is keeping them around if they're not doing anything?
Right.
So I get it. She's worrying about relationships. This business is built on relationships. But at the same time, if that relationship isn't garnering you any success,
that's right.
Either like through relationships or financially, it's like, well, you got to go. You gotta go. So you gotta switch up. So
you're either an asset or a liability.
You're either asset or a liability.
And the way I look at it is, I started at 14 years old. I started as a DJ. I had a DJ business. I would book myself at like high schools and junior highs, and I would DJ their dances. And then I was really frustrated with like, why can't I get an agent to book me and blah blah blah. I was telling my dad this. He goes, "Hey, you used to have this business. You could call around and like, you could email around. You could get yourself booked." And I started booking myself. And I'm like, okay, well, look, I can do this myself until I find that person who is on the level that I need them to be. There are those people out there. I know who they are. And I know, like, I need to rise a little bit in my, and I've been very calculated and, like, I made a special last summer. I'm, like, being very, like, strategic in how I'm going to release it. And, like, this is, like, the big bomb that I've been holding to make the situation I want.
That's fire.
It's all momentum though. Like that's what I've noticed is like momentum is key.
But you're such a great businessman,
Really?
Yeah.
Aww.
Because I mean, so many like managers would just take advantage of you. They're like, "Oh yeah, he's all over the place. Let me get this whatever 10, 20, 15%." But like you were just so great at like very focused, no BS. Because there's so many talented people out there, but they don't have their shit together,
It's the business side.
It's the business side that like this is why we're going to see on GFL new faces and represented.
After 31 years.
It all comes back to it. It really does come down to like if you're a creative person, I think it's hard for you sometimes to switch to that business mind, because that business mind is the thing that's going to be the difference between someone seeing you or not seeing you or booking you or whatever. And I think as creatives, we're always like, look, I just want to show up and do the gig and get paid. I'm good, right? And you can't do that now. It doesn't behoove you to just do it now unless you got a go-getter. Like you need a go-getter. Like, and go-getters, I don't think go-getters exist on a higher level anymore.
Yeah,
Like, you see what I'm saying?
Shout out to my production company, Higher Level Entertainment.
Yeah.
Higher
Higher Level. That's a great name, man.
See, that was the
That's a great
alley-oop. I
name.
didn't even know I was throwing that alley-oop right there.
There you go.
But like there used to be, like I'll give you a prime example. So back in the day when they were booking, like say the Tonight Show, right? If your manager or your agent wanted you to be seen, they would tell you, yo, Irina, listen, we need you. We need your set. We need to see your set. You need to be down there to do the set. Here you go. We need you to run the set, blah, blah, blah. We're going to watch you run the set. Send us the tape. The tape, that's how long ago. Send us the tape. We're going to watch it. They would break down your set and all that. They would go with you to the club and watch you work out the set. And they would listen to the laughs and, okay, you got more laughs at this part, blah, blah, blah. They would do all of this. This is your team that would do this.
They cared.
They gave a fuck, right? Now... And then the booker would be the same way. The booker would look at your set. I remember them coming to see me at the Comedy and Magic Club. They would break down your set verbatim, everything, word for word, everything. This would go between you and your team. The team would go talk to these people here, this, and they would hone your set, all of this, because they all had a vested interest in you doing what you do. Your manager does, your agent does, the people you perform for does. That's changed a lot now. Now they're like, look, send me a link. I don't feel like coming to the club. Can you do me anything else? Give me the easiest way to help you. And that's where I think a lot of stuff has changed. So that's the downside. The good part, to your point, is now you're forced to say, okay, maybe I'm the best person to represent me the best way. Maybe I'm the person that knows this is how I want to market my special that I got coming out. Mm-hmm. This is how I want to use the graphics. This is all of this. And to know how to do all of that behooves you, because at the end of the day, once you get your machine going, those people that are too lazy to care about you the same way you care about you, you've eliminated them, and you've already kind of streamlined it to where, hey, man, I'm already here. If you want to come along, maybe, but I don't need you to do that. That's what I say is the good and bad part of where we are.
And the thing is, we fight it because we are creators and we just want to show up. And I was just like, I came up with something when I was doing my special. I was like, man, when I got into comedy, I never thought, as people say, like, hey, you want to do comedy? Yeah, learn Photoshop. Like, you know what I mean?
And I get it.
It has nothing to do with it, but it does have everything to do with it.
Everything, bro.
It's like learning how to type if you want to be a writer. I now look at editing as like, video editing is learning how to type. You have to learn how to work the machine to get those things that you want.
Posters,
your own studio.
Right. Exactly. You're a one person studio. I would go to gigs, and I would send them. No, first I used to just trust that they would use the right picture.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God,
right?
dude.
You show up there and I'm like, this is my
God.
fucking high school glamour shot. I don't even look like this no more.
Yeah, that's
Yo.
true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Check this shit out. I'm doing this event for a company, and they go, oh yeah, you've worked with all these people. They like looked at my website and all this stuff. Yeah, I used to open for Jo Koy and all this stuff. So they go, cool. All right, well, can we use pictures from your Instagram and stuff like that? I go, yeah, sure. These motherfuckers used a picture of me and like 7 other comedians in a picture. Jo Koy's holding the camera. I'm the smallest person in the picture. Tiffany Haddish is in it. Joe Torre's in it.
Damn.
There's like
iconic photo.
I'm like the least known name in this, and I'm like the smallest. And they're like, Eric Schwartz, comedian. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? I go, you got to take that down.
Yeah.
Hey, what did you? I didn't know you two opened up for Jo Koy. What you learned? Like,
Oh my God.
being on the road with him.
Well, the most inspiring thing that I learned is that there's a huge audience that loves what I do. Because when it was a dream, man. It was opening for his audience. Like they instantly were on my side. Like I connected with them. Great. Like it was, and it was great. Huge venues. Like we dream of like selling out shows, but it was almost like cheating that I got to open for, be in front of these audiences that he earned. He earned these audiences, but I got to go out and like play in front of them. And they're just like in the best mood. They're come to laugh. What I do, I guess, appeals to them in a great way. And so watching him though, like he's the ultimate like follow your dreams, bet on yourself. Very encouraging in that way. And so his story, which he's told many times about his special
On Netflix.
Yeah, the first one, Live from Seattle, where he took all of his money and he bet on himself and he made this amazing special. Netflix had already said no many times. They took it to them. They go, we're going to say no. They watched it. They said yes. And then like the rest is history.
Yeah.
So I took a note from him and I bet on myself. I made my own special, spent more money than I've ever spent on anything else.
What's the name of it?
It's called Delivery.
Okay.
And the name is kind of a double, maybe triple meaning of delivery, like comedic delivery. My delivery is a little different, where I do music and multimedia, and then also a rebirth, like delivery. I'm actually born in the beginning of it. Yeah.
I like that. There's a story.
Yeah.
What do y'all feel? Okay, so what? I don't know. So when it comes to like, because I'm about to shoot a special, right? I'm about to shoot a special in New York, supposedly. September is coming up. Feeling pretty good about it. You know, I'm like, I've been doing it this long. I just got to do the shit.
Yeah.
So what do you feel like are some keys, and y'all could chime in, to a successful special nowadays? Specifically, the distribution of the special.
Wow. Well, I mean, I've just been through it. I don't know about you guys, but I would say I kind of worry less about the distribution because you have YouTube.
Right.
YouTube is I would say, right, I mean, I may not know what I'm talking about. I would say at this moment is probably the number 2 place to put a comedy special.
Behind Netflix,
yeah,
right?
Netflix has probably got the biggest specifically comedy audience, but I think it's something like 80% or 70% of the country watches YouTube.
Yeah.
Of course, they're watching it for like many reasons, not just comedy, but you always have YouTube now. So that's your, I almost want to put it on YouTube because then I own it. Like,
right.
Part of me is like, I don't know if I would be presented a deal that I would want to take over YouTube at this point.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
But are you going to try to at least try to get it licensed first?
Yes.
Right.
I want to do that because I mean, the quality that we made this thing, I feel like somebody was describing it to me. It was like, man, what you did is like, you shouldn't put it on YouTube because it's like the production value is so high. And he's like, it's like art or something, this person said. And I go, oh, and then I thought of like art gallery. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe it should, if we can get it in an art gallery like Netflix, like let's do it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But I'm trying to keep an open mind. And I feel like wherever I put it, it's going to find its audience. Whatever is meant to be will be. Shout out Sly and the Family Stones. And
what, they performed or something?
No, they have a song.
Oh, hilarious! See, that's how you know I'm old, but I'm still young.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
I ain't want to say that. That
Man, Sly and the Family Stones are the new faces of funk.
Damn.
I would say the number one thing, first and foremost, make it funny as fuck.
Yeah.
Because what people tend to do is you say, well, like there's a reason why people still talk about killing them softly.
Classic.
Yeah.
You can watch it today and it's still one of the funniest things out there decades later. Same thing with Bring the Pain. So what we tend to do is in this day, we think, all right, I gotta get as many people to watch it. So I gotta focus more on this. Everything he said is very true. YouTube, I would say that's where you want, because you already have a name. So you just say, okay, I'm putting a special out. It's just about putting clips up and all that stuff. That's why you need a team that's going to market it the best way on that platform. But if you make it the most solid product, period.
Right.
Period.
Undeniable.
At that point, the rest of the stuff will just start to work itself out. Someone's going to see a clip and they'll be like, yo, you got to watch this shit. Check this out. And then another person will say it. Then another person will say it. I remember putting out something, and to be honest with you, I didn't even think it was going to be something. I put something out on Dry Bar, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go do the gig.
What's Dry Bar?
Dry Bar is they film in Utah, Provo, Utah.
Damn, I'm the only one that didn't know what Dry Bar.
Clean comedy.
Clean comedy, right?
Oh, that's why I didn't know.
Yeah, hilarious.
They put it on YouTube and they get millions.
Oh, does it?
Exactly.
I gotta look that up, Dry Bar.
I would get these random messages from people, and they'd be like, "Yo, oh my God, your Dry Bar special is fucking hilarious," and I'd be like, "Who? wait, I thought I was just doing this shit just to do it. And then I realized, oh no, they put it up on YouTube. They put it up on this. And so all these platforms. But the number one thing that was cool about it is I gave them my best work.
Right.
And so now the word of mouth of what I do as a performer stands out. The distribution is cool. That's great. But once you put it together, especially you doing it in New York, oh, bro, go in there let the distribution be what it is, but make that product so fucking dope.
Yeah.
That nobody can be like, oh man, but no, it's dope. The rest of the shit will work itself out.
Right.
It's like focus on what you have control over.
Yep.
And you
right there.
To some degree, you do have control over the distribution, but you have the most control over your performance.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Don't go into it thinking about that. Go into it. This is on the best thing I ever tell comedians is, in that moment, they came to see you in that moment. Mm-hmm. They came to see you do what you do, and a lot of people left their day. They found babysitters. They paid for gas. A lot of dudes bought drinks and food already for them and their lady. They did all that shit before they came to see you. You have to give them the best experience to where when they walk out of there, they're like, everything I spent today was fucking worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously do 2 shows, right? At least, if you can.
Yeah,
Safety.
I plan to do
Safety
4. I plan to do 4 shows.
Dude, 4.
Overachiever.
I wish I could have done 4.
Yeah, I know, right? But I think I'm only doing like 20 to 30 minutes per set, though. So it'll be an hour within.
And you're just going to do different stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to have like a set 30 minutes, definitely for the 8 o'clock shows. That's like, this is what, if it is a half-hour special, this is what it is. But I think on those 10 o'clock shows is when I'm going to kind of play around even more so and do different material.
And then you could throw it in.
Exactly. Then I could throw those jokes in wherever I want to throw them. Any of the ones that hit hard.
One of the pieces of advice I got after I shot from somebody that knows what they're talking about, they said, when you shoot a special, do everything. Do like old material. Just do stuff because you don't know what you're gonna use. Yeah. And like you might as well. You got the camera set up. Just keep doing stuff. Riff.
I just told a comedian that because the comedian was telling me, he was like, only do the 30 minutes. Only focus on the 30 minutes. I said, no. I said, I'd rather have extra material. I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yeah.
And so he was like, yeah, okay. But I'm like, yeah, so I agree with that. So that's why definitely on them 10 o'clock shows, I'm going to just go for it. I'm going to just say some absurd shit. Because I realize when I'm at my most I don't give a fuck, that's when I'm at my funniest.
Yeah, you got to get yourself into that. Like my first show, I noticed I was kind of in my head. Nobody else could tell, but I was like, when I got off stage, I was like, that's not it. I have to go bigger. I have to like really have fun. And the second show, I did that. Royale Watkins was a consulting producer for me.
Oh, was he? Oh, dope.
And he gave me a pep talk that changed my mind frame. And I was like, yeah, this is it. And I went out, I had the most fun ever. Something happened in the room. The chairs started breaking because we had to rent chairs, and they were like these flimsy wedding chairs.
That's hilarious.
And then I was like, I turned it into maybe what's one of the best moments of the special, where I said, yeah, that's how funny I am. People fucking falling out of their chairs.
I love it.
So
Royale's the best, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's a legend too. I was just telling him at the chateau.
Yeah.
I was just saying how he's a legend. Irina, what's your What's the overall like goal? Is it like acting? Is it like selling?
For me?
Yeah.
Well, with comedy, it's kind of, even though I've been doing it for a while, I'm just finally feel like I'm getting somewhere. Like, I definitely have like 45-minute set. I definitely feel strong about performing like outside of the chateau. It's just, being a hot Playboy Playmate, a humble brag. It's always like, people just don't ever think of you as a comedian. And even in my head, like, there's always these demons. I'm not good enough. Like, I'm never going to make it a career. But I feel like I'm finally changing my mindset, and my work is paying off. And I'm seeing, like, I am funny. Like, I can do this. I have very strong material.
You do. I've seen you have great sets at the chateau.
And that whole thing about being a model, I think that in comedy it's changed. There's so many, like when I started, anyone who was like pretty in comedy, they would discount them. But like there's so many all different walks of life now in comedy and that are being taken seriously.
Wait a minute. So you was a Playboy Playmate? I don't know if I knew that. Let's circle back. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I don't do that set anymore, but I still like in like a long set. I do mention that.
Oh, did you go to the mansion?
Yeah, I stayed there for a while. Yeah.
You stayed at the Playboy Mansion?
You lived there?
Yeah, lead with that. Lead with that.
Well, they brought me to this country, so.
Hugh Hefner brought you here?
Yes.
Hugh Hefner, did you get a green card from him?
Well, they offered me a green card, but my current husband at the time said, no, you're not going to be spending 6 months out of the year in America. So they gave me a work visa.
Okay.
And then I stayed here with a work visa.
Now, that's so funny because earlier when you was talking about Russia, how, you said you was poor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, how did you get the money to come to the U.S.?
I started modeling when I was like 18, 19. And I went to Europe. And I came here after I was already married and lived in Europe. I came here for a photo shoot, and I got scouted by a Playboy photographer.
Wait, so you started modeling not in Russia? You
Not
had
in
to go to
Russia,
Europe.
Yeah, I went
okay.
to Milan.
So, hold on. I got a couple more. Wait a minute. Got some follow-ups. Wait a minute. Hugh Hefner, when you stayed at the Playboy Mansion, were you married?
In Europe, yes.
In Europe? But you stayed at the Playboy Mansion in America?
Yeah.
But you were still technically married?
Yes.
Okay. I think I'll stop right there.
But just so you know, my husband at the time, he said this is a scam. And this is some kind of scam situation, and you're never going to be in the magazine, and they're just lying to you. So he never believed like anything will, come through. And next thing I know, I was Miss January, okay?
Hey, goddamn.
Which year?
I didn't know this.
2001.
Oh, dope.
I mean, it wasn't 2001.
Everybody's just Googling in their heads right now.
Oh, no. I will be doing a Google search immediately when you leave.
I love it. He's trying to keep you straight his face. He's just like,
2001, Jay?
you see, he's just kind of like,
I can't. I know you too well. I can't do it.
I'm going to do the Google search. But you know what's so funny? I remember when I was filming.
Incognito window.
I think I was filming 21 Jump Street. I just threw it in a credit. No, but I think I was filming 21 Jump Street, and somebody had some leak come out. I don't remember. It might have was Jennifer Lawrence at the time. I think that's what. Remember when Jennifer Lawrence had a leak and new photos came out of Jennifer Lawrence at the time? You know about that? Now you got 2 Google searches to do. So
Homework.
You got homework today.
And Justin on 21 Jump Street. You know what I mean? What year
I know
was
about
that?
21 Jump Street. I just
What
didn't
month?
know about
If
this.
you blink, you'll miss me. So anyways, but I remember being on set. I was like, oh, Jennifer Lawrence. I said, I got to look that up. And I remember, I think it was Dave Franco. I think to his credit, he was like, I'm not going to look that up, man. And I was like, what? You're not going to? It just blew my mind that a man wouldn't look that up, like a famous female celebrity. It just blew my mind. So the fact that you're not going to look Irina up.
I mean, I'm not going to look it up again.
Oh,
Correction.
I knew it. I was just about to say, I said, you must have already seen them fucking photos, bro. I was like, you must have already seen them, and that's why you're not finna look them up.
You saw his face. He just kind of kept it really calm, like, interesting.
This is my last
I'm not going to see it again. It's boring.
This is my last
She doesn't
question.
have 6 toes.
You might have 6 nipples. So this is my last question about the Playboy Mansion. Did you see the documentary?
No.
Okay.
It's pointless.
But you had a fine time or did you have fine at the Playboy Mansion?
I was always treated with respect.
Okay.
And I treated it as a job, and they treated me professional.
Okay.
Like Half was nothing but a gentleman. We always had the really long political conversations, and everybody would be very jealous when he was talking to me for a long time. So, and I never, like the thing is, like I never wanted to be his girlfriend, or, like I never put myself out there to, be in that situation. So I was even never asked to sleep with him or to do anything, and
So he never tried to hit on you.
No.
Now, as a woman, did that make you feel any type of way? Did you ever think like, why not me?
Well, I talk about it now on stage. Like, everybody asked me, did you sleep with Half, which is really hurtful because he never asked. So for years, I was like the only bunny who wasn't invited to share the carrot.
Damn,
The
share the
carrot.
carrot. Is that what he used to say? Share the carrot? Oh.
No, that's me.
Oh,
But,
okay. Okay, that's good.
that's my personal take. But no, like, I had the best experience. Like Playboy brought me here. I started auditioning for television and film. I had an agency. I started booking commercials.
But
It's
no
all
JFL.
because of
God
but
damn
no
it.
JFL. But
God
yeah,
damn it. Almost.
Yes.
Almost.
Still strict. Still strict.
Well, what's y'all socials, man? It's been great. What's y'all socials where they can find you at? Let the people know.
Irina Voronina on everything, even Threads.
Even Threads.
Even Threads.
I'm trying to figure out Threads.
And you can find her at the Comedy Chateau.
Oh yes,
Performing.
please, yes. Me and everybody else in this room
Right.
is
Yeah.
frequenting the Comedy Chateau all of the time.
Straight up.
Yes. Comedian Ty Barnett. There's a website. If people still go to websites, but also the YouTube page will be launched officially in about 3 weeks. Just finalizing some sketches that I did, and I put a little commercial together for it. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, Ty Barnett 23. There's a dry bar special out. There's a couple old specials out there. Couple TV show stuff. So you can find me on there.
EricSchwartzLive.com is my website. And then Instagram is Eric Schwartz with 3 E's. EEERICSCHWARTZ. And then just search around. You'll find me. My special delivery, I don't know when it's coming out, but we'll see.
This year or next year, you thinking?
I wanted it to come out already, but I was waiting on some things. But hopefully this year.
Gotcha, man.
Yeah.
And it's your man, Justin Hires. Make sure you subscribe. If you made it this far, hit the subscribe button. Like, share. And if anybody has been offended by anything that we said today, just remember one thing. Fuck your feelings. We out.
Roll me down, I get it. Hate that I keep winning. Stab my back.